how is the dissipation of the Wilson side of this? Russell Wilson, he's making some announcements now, says he wants Antonio Brown in Seattle sometime soon. Does this mean that the idea of Russell Wilson being somewhere else next year is not something that fans should be looking at anymore?
No. So if anything, it points me more toward the idea that he will not be on the roster in 2021. This doesn't feel like it feels too public at this point. When we went years in the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick relationship, like every time any suggestion of tension came out, we all blasted it, or many blasted it, and suggested, no way, they're fine. And it wasn't always fine. They got through it. But when it starts to go public, you realize, wow, the depth of this is much. Think about like Jared Goff and Sean McVay. Like a year ago at this time, were we really thinking like that was ending in such a fast-paced divorce? So when I translate all that to Russell Wilson, like, I don't know, man. It still doesn't feel like we're headed toward Russell Wilson in Week 1 in Seattle, and that's just kind of based on, yes, what I know in terms of where that relationship is at. It doesn't feel like there's some kumbaya thing going on where they figured it out. But that is also just a little instinctive sort of perspective on what we've already experienced with other quarterbacks out there.
Wow. Jeff Darlington, ESPN NFL reporter, you kind of took me back there a little bit because I really thought it was trending in that other direction. There's an incredible cap hit that Seattle would take getting rid of him, but they're willing to take that on to rebuild. It got close with the Bears.
Like, I think we all recognize, like, that got closer than, and I refuse to believe that Pete Carroll just sort of backed off and said, you know what, Russ is my guy. Like, when have we heard anything about Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll basically, coming out and saying, man, we're in this together, where this is, our fight to fight? It hasn't been like that. So, again, like, I'm not trying to like stir it up or anything. I'm just inclined to sort of continue to follow these tea leaves that are out there, which is not suggesting that. If look, what happens if Antonio Brown doesn't wind up in Seattle? Like, I think there's so much to play out between now and the draft, let alone the start of the season, that I don't feel like the Russell Wilson situation has reached any sense of conclusiveness.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.